Oh man, you guys. So I know that you're super thrilled to be starting the next two examples, which actually, now that I look at it, this should be example 3 and example 4, not example 1 and 2. So sorry guys, this is example 3 and 4. Sorry about that. But anyways, we're going to be starting example 3 and 4, which is going to take example 1 and 2 to the next level. So get excited about that. Okay, so we have a circle equation in standard form, and what we're going to be doing is graphing circles from the equation of the circle in standard form. So we're going to be using this nifty circle equation in standard form. This is the standard form. And we're going to use pieces of the equation to help us graph, which guess what, you guys? All we need to graph a circle is the center point and the radius, which if you think back to the ones we just did, which if you don't remember, I have them right here, we already learned how to identify the center and the radius. So pretty much we're doing exactly what we did, except we are taking this one step further. We are going to be graphing the circle using the center and the radius points. Oh man, I'm already so pumped up. I just don't know what to do with myself. Anyway, so we should be pros at identifying the center and the radius by now. So don't forget, you guys, the center comes from the values added and subtracted to the x and the y, but we have to think the opposite. Whatever signs are in the equation will be the opposite in our point. Okay, so looking at my equation, which one of these lovely values is my h value? You guys are correct. It is my 3, but don't forget, the sign in here is the opposite of the sign in my point. So what is the opposite of positive 3? It would be negative 3. So my h value is negative 3. And then looking here, so k is whatever's added or subtracted to the y. Which one of these lovely values is my k value? Oh man, you guys are correct. It is negative 1. But don't forget, in here, it's the opposite of that value. So since that's the negative 1, what is the opposite of negative 1? It is positive 1. You guys are on a roll. You guys are so smart. Okay, so my center point is at negative 3, 1, which I'm going to go ahead and graph that on my nifty little coordinate grid right here. Okay, so we're going to start by graphing the center, and then the radius will help us to draw a lovely sketch of our pretty circle. So my center point is at negative 3, 1. So negative 3, 1. So this is my center point. Okay, and then using the radius, we'll be able to construct the rest of our circle. So let's figure out what the radius is. All right, so what part of my equation can we find the radius from? It is what the equation equals, but don't forget, the equation equals the radius squared. So what do we do to the part of the what do we do to this piece of the equation? So the part that the equation equals. What do I do to this number right here? I do, in fact, have to square root that value. Do not forget that, you guys. So I'm going to square root the value that the equation equals. I was about to say the radius. The demon cat's almost got me. So I'm going to square root the value that the equation equals, which is 16. So my radius is actually and secretly the square root of 16. So what is the square root of 16? What times what gives us 16? Oh man, it is 4. So the radius equals 4. All right, so here's my center point, and here's my radius. And these two bad boys right here are going to help us to graph our circle. So after we have our lovely center point graphed, we're going to use the radius to help construct the rest of the circle. So what you're going to do after you find the radius, starting from the center, you are going to count up, then down, then left, then right, as many spaces as the radius is. So since my radius is 4 units, I'm going to start at my center and count up 4 points and plot a point. Go back to my center, count down 4 points, plot a point. Go back to my center, count 4 to the right, plot a point. And then go back to my center and count 4 to the left and get my final point on the circle. And those 4 lovely points will help me to draw my pretty circle. So let's get excited. All right, so from my center, I'm going to count up 4. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Then I'm going to count down for 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, right there. I'm going to count right 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Oh, I'm slightly off. The demon cat's got me. Oh no, hurry, hurry. Okay. JKLOL. I didn't do that. So count 4. I counted the right spaces. I was just too far up. So count 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. And then lastly, I need to count to the left 4 spaces, which I didn't make my coordinate grid big enough. Man, those demon cats they're out left and right trying to get me tonight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, I should have extended this a little further. So we'll say, which now that's not very pretty. I'm going to fix that, you guys, since I did not make it very pretty. And this pretty circle deserves a pretty graph. So let's fix this. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, sorry. That tick mark is too far over and it's irking me. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a point right there, and right there. Alright, so now let me count 4 to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Alright, guys, and from here, I'm going to connect these 4 yellow points, not the center. Okay, the circle surrounds the center. So I'm going to connect my 4 yellow points, and then I'll have my pretty circle. Alright, and I'm not the best at drawing circles. My circles end up looking like footballs, kind of. So hopefully you're probably much more talented than me. So I'm confident your circle's not going to look like a hot mess like mine's about to look. Alright, so we're connecting these 4 points. Alright. Which again, oh gosh, it's already awful. Okay. Alright, so I told you my circles don't look very pretty. They kind of look like footballs. Not saying there's anything wrong with a football, but, you know, circles are not really the shape of a football. But anyways, here's my circle, and like normal, you guys, my circle deserves a name, which this circle's name is going to be Gregory. And how rude of me, I didn't even capitalize Gregory's name. I'm going to capitalize it. It deserves some respect. So this is the Gregory circle. Oh man, you guys. So all we need to graph a circle is the center and the radius. And bam, we got our circle. Oh man, you guys. I know you're already ready to tackle example 4. So let's get started.